Hello everyone, here and welcome to yet another gameplay commentary in Parth of Exile. Then you actually liked my last video when I did an extreme attack speed build, so I figured out, well, let's just make something equally as ridiculous. And the build I'm going to play here is just a character I reroll the skills on, and that is a self-cast Discharge Build. It was a very popular build back in the day, but nowadays self-cast Discharge isn't played that much, at least not to my knowledge. But anyway, just to be very clear about this build I'm playing here are not endgame viable. So before anyone writing anything that this is a terrible build, I didn't make this build to be really good, I just make it to be fun. And also that I absolutely love Discharge, one of my most favorite skills of all time, but it's so hard to do. Yes, I need to slow this down a little bit. It's just hard to use, and it's hard to build a build around it. And of course I'm going to show my skill tree and all of that. And that's why I'm just playing a tier 8 map, and it is a big chance that I might die. Oh, I have the wrong skills. Just remember that I should. And I have increased AUE, not there. Yeah, instead of elemental focus. So let's run and be very careful. This build is actually very hard to play as well. It's so much thing I need to keep track on. Oops, I was not supposed to activate that skill. It is a relatively expensive and not that really useful build, but it is still fun to play. I can't say anything about that. And also one thing, I can have a problem because I'm trying to record something on Parth of Exile for the last day, but for some reason, you can see how laggy it are for me. For some reason in Parth of Exile, all of my other games can be good internet, but when I go into Parth of Exile, for some reason, the connection is terrible nowadays. So I'm having a hard time to actually just record this. But anyway, back in the day, when I almost when I started playing Parth of Exile, self-cast Discharge Build was like the dream to play, but you needed a Chevron wrapping, which nowadays are not that expensive. But then it was one of the most expensive items you can get. It was like 25 Exalt or something ridiculous like that. It was a very expensive build, and but it was really good. Well, I guess it was good because I wanted to play it back then, but never get around to play it. Nowadays, well, Discharge have problems, like this. To get really good damage from Discharge, actually when it comes to damage, you can see my damage right now, 140,000. It goes very much up and down. You can see now my damage is not that high. Yeah, it's very fluctuating from like nothing to like really high, almost like 300,000 in one hit. Now we're gonna see, stand here, almost 200,000. As I said before, this build, this is like a real glass cannon. And also running out of mana, because I don't have enough mana regeneration to sustain that, so I need to activate my flasks here and there to actually just... Using those flasks merely... Oh, I forgot this was a shaper map, this could be interesting. If he hits me, he probably one-shots me. And this doesn't make the fight any easier or anything. Oh, come on, don't kill me. Oh, shit. Just need to be prepared with a portal if I die. Alright, I didn't die. Maybe I underestimated the damage a little bit, but again... Of course I'm going to show my skill tree. This was just a fun gameplay, so just keep that in mind. But I'm going to show my skill tree anyway. And my items. I went for an Elementalist because Elementalist when it comes to spell is my absolutely favorite class right now. And of course I went for Program of Calamity so I can take reflect damage, and I have Elemental Lich, which is nice to get back some life when I'm using my Discharge. I have Pendulum of Destruction and Mastermind of Discord. This particular character haven't ascended the last time, but if I had I would probably take Shape of Dissolution. I also went for spell damage, Arcanist and Dominion, Annihilation because I want crit, Blast Ray of course since it's an AoE spell, and most important of all, taking power charges. I went for both Heart of Thunder and Heart of Flame, because most of my damage are lightning and fire, and because I'm doing all of the elements at once, it would actually be much better if I could just concentrate on one element, but I did this anyway. Probably not the best choice, but who cares. I went for Deep Thoughts and Cruel Perception, because I wanted some survivability, but I'm still very much a glass can. Then I went all the way down here to take Doomcast, Written in Blood, another power charge in the shadow area. I went for Nullification. I will take this one because I needed some dexterity, so I just took this note. And I have Blood Wrinkle, and I should actually take Fanatic and get a Frenzy charge as well. I have Assassination, Trickstery, Soul Siphon, and Blood Siphon. And on the other side, I took Quick Recovery, Amplify, Retribution, Discipline and Training, Sentry, Light of Divinity, Holy Dominion, Devotion, and Endurance Charge, another Power Charge, and Celestial Punishment to get some penetration in all of the elements. And when it comes to my items, it's a mixed bag. I wish I had more life, but well, it's hard to get. We're gonna talk about my weapon first. Just using a standard, nothing special one. This one is something I just happen to have in my stash, so I just took this one. It's absolutely nothing special with this one. It has some crit chance for spells, but it could have crit multiply and all of that. But again, I just made this build for fun. And here I have something that's a little bit more expensive, a Void Battery Wand. This one actually increases my power charge as well, and give me a lot of spell damage if I have a lot of power charges. But it also reduces my spell damage if I don't have any power charges, as you can see. It's a quite nice one, and I didn't bought this one, I didn't find it. A friend actually gave this to me. And I have this helmet here, just a defensive helmet, nothing special. And I have this ring here, again, defensive, life resistance, nothing special. I have this amulet here, Vol's Devotion, which back in the day was now 25 exalts or something like that. It was crazy. But nowadays it's really cheap. You can get it for, I think it's a couple of exalted orbs. I don't really know because I have had this amulet for a long time. But it's pretty much a must-have if I'm playing this one, because it has the effect that gain endurance charges when you lose a power charge. So every time when a power charge is either expired or consumed when I'm using my discharge, it will become a endurance charge, so I can use more discharging fun. I'm also using a gift from above, which is, in my opinion, maybe a little bit unnecessary, but I went for it anyway because why not? More crit. And I also have these gloves here, and again, defensive gloves. And I almost forget something. Even gift from above back in the day, it was a very expensive ring with like 6-5 exalted. Well, it depends who you ask when it comes to that many exalts, but for me that would be quite expensive. I have this quite nice defensive belt here. And I have some flasks here, remove freezing, remove bleeding, diamond flask, 2 Doritos elixir for some power charges, and just keep the power charges, or even give me back some mana. Not a lot of mana, but some mana at least. It also triggers my cost and damage taken. And I'm using a Quicksilver Flask because Quicksilver Flasks are just amazing. And when it comes to boots, I don't know if I talked about them before, but again, defensive, life resistance. And the armor, the most important thing. The most important thing with this armor, it is the effect that I get a power charge for each enemy that I crit with a critical strike. So if I crit like 5 enemies, I get 5 endurance charges. Power charges. This armor would be very expensive back in the day. It was like 10 exalt, 6 linked. 6 linked, not. If it was unlinked, it was like dirt cheap. So I actually bought this armor only to make this video and have some fun with this character, and it cost me like 2 exalts. And I have quite a bit of currency in standard, because all of the years you have been playing the game, things just start to pile up in standard, where everything ends up eventually. So I just get this on for this. And when it comes to my skill gems, well, you saw some of them before, but I have Discharge together with increased area of effect, increased critical strike damage, control destruction, and increased critical strikes, and power charge on critical. I could use Elemental Focus instead of Power Charge and Critical, or I can switch to, I could use, instead of Power Charge and Critical, I could use Elemental Focus. And instead of my increased area of effect, when I'm fighting a boss, I could just switch to Concentrated Effect. But now you're gonna hear my very, very stupid reason why I don't usually use my Elemental Focus, which would be good. I want to see the enemy lying on the ground, either burning or shocked or freezed or all of it at the same time. That is my only stupid reason for me not to using Elemental Focus. I want to see the enemy either blast into small bits by my ice damage or just lying on the ground burning. It feels like more oomph in the explosion, and I freaking love that. So that's a very stupid reason, but I like that reason. So feel free to say in comments that's a stupid reason, but I like it. When it comes to my other gems, I'm using both Clarity, Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ash, and Herald of Ice. I'm also using Blood Rage. The only reason I'm using Blood Rage is to get some Frenzy charges. And Blood Rage are supported by increased duration. And then I just have a ton of cost and damage taken set up with Sparks, Shock Nova, all that, just to get a little bit more chance of getting a power charge or some charges for this one. It's probably not the best setup ever with all of that, but I went for it anyway. And also, if I don't have any charges or running out of charges, I'm using just a Shock Nova to try to get some, have some luck and get a crit on the enemy so I can get another charge. And that's pretty much this character. And again, I can't stress this enough, this was only a video for fun. So yeah, but if any of you actually have an idea to actually make a real Discharge build, by all means post it, because Discharge is one of my favorite skills and I would absolutely love to actually have a really good working Discharge build. But I don't know if that is possible, and when I'm talking about Discharge, I'm talking about self-cast Discharge. Not like cast on crit or cast on channeling or whatever. I'm talking about self-cast Discharge. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Tell me in the comment what you think about having some fun with this character. I'm making some videos here and there, and I'm starting to a little bit coming back and come up with some more ideas. Perhaps. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this short little video here. Tell me in the comment what you think about it, and I see you guys soon.